What's up, guys? I'm Corey from SuperKamiGuru9000, and this is my review of Bleach Chapter 459. This is it, guys. Another week, another Bleach chapter where barely almost anything happens, and yet there's an incredible impact on the story. I honestly can say that this week's chapter of Bleach got me excited in a lot of different ways, but it was really interesting. You see, the first half of the chapter, we basically continue to see Ginjo and Tsukishima continuing to berate Ichigo, basically, and egg him on about the fact that, oh great, now that you got your powers back, now they belong to us. Big whoop. And it's actually really cool because in the last chapter you saw Ginjo actually stabs Ichigo with his big sword, and it's, embedded directly into his chest, but it's cool because when he actually pulls the sword out, you can see Ichigo's full bring abilities attaching themselves to the sword and being pulled along with it as he's pulling it out, and it looks really cool. And Ichigo has a little breakdown after this. He starts doing his typical screaming, and he starts crying and everything, and he's obviously upset because all this time he's been working to get his powers back so he could protect his friends. And what ends up happening? All his friends end up betraying him in a sense, and he has no means to protect them anymore. But still, there is one interesting development in the chapter, and one that I just loved so much to see. So at this point in the story, we can see now that Ichigo doesn't have his powers anymore, and both him and Ishida are down for the count. They're almost screwed at this point. And with Ichigo powerless, Ginjo sees pretty much no need to want to attack him anymore, and he's basically like, let's just get out of here. But Ichigo's continuing to basically say, give me my powers back. I earned them, and then Ginjo's like, no man, I'm the one who gave you these powers. You don't deserve to get them back. You get nothing. And that's when the coolest part of the chapter happens. As Ginjo and Tsukishima are walking away from the weakened Ichigo, all of a sudden, Ichigo gets up and a white sword stabs him directly through the chest. And who's behind him? Urahara and his dad, Isen. And Ichigo is just completely shocked by this. But still, something's not quite right about this situation. His first reaction when he sees both his dad and Urahara is just like, why? Why would you do this? But Isen, his dad, assures him they weren't the one who stabbed him. And all of a sudden, we cut to Rukia! Holy crap, Rukia Kuchiki is back, and I'm not gonna lie, I got a stiffy. I was glad to see Rukia again. She's my favorite female character in the series, and just to see her have an important role in is great. And there is a reason why she stabbed Ichigo, and this is sort of a callback to the very first saga of Bleach. When she stabs him, all of a sudden this giant tornado of energy just immediately erupts around Ichigo. And it's awesome when it's happening because you can see Tsukishima and Ginjo just have this look on their face of, oh shit, we are fucked now. And all of a sudden the smoke clears, and we get a look at Ichigo's brand new shinigami robes, and he also has a brand new Zangetsu sword. And it looks awesome. Now I know I've harped in the past about Ichigo having a lot of different forms, but I always tend to like them. I'm not sure why it is, but they just all tend to have a little something unique about them that makes them different from the last. Obviously, you'll notice in this then that he has some sort of weird necklace piece, and he also has some things around his arms, but his sword is really the newest thing here, and it does look a lot like his original Shikai form, which is, basically like a big butcher's blade, but it's a little bit bigger and a little more badass looking, personally. And if that's what the Shikai looks like, I wonder how it's actually going to have an effect on his Bankai. So I can't wait to see what happens. So the chapter does end with Ichigo finally getting his real Shinigami powers back, and standing around just looking like a badass with a big sword over his shoulder. And the only problem I think I may have with this is just because the last 15 or so chapters have all had to deal with Ichigo getting his full brain powers, and it almost seems like it's pointless now because Rukia just sort of showed up anyway and helped him out. But I think this was all originally the intentions of Urahara and his dad Isen, and possibly on Rukia's part as well. Just to see Rukia back, even though she has no lines in this chapter, was a treat. Like I stated earlier, I think Rukia is awesome. And she also has kind of a new hairdo. She has shorter hair. But she still looks fine as hell, in my opinion. But, overall, this was a fun chapter. Very little on the action, but there was the fact that Ichigo finally got his Shinigami powers back. So because of that, I'm going to have to give it an 8 at least. Really, really fun chapter. And yes, Ichigo does have a brand new form, but it still looks cool. And I love seeing Rukia again. It's good to see that Soul Society has not forgotten about Ichigo. I mean, he's a pretty important character, and I imagine they would keep tabs on the guy. So this is just gonna, bring more to this saga now. Now that we know that Ginjo and Tsukishima are the actual villains to deal with, it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here. But I'd honestly like to see what you guys thought of this chapter and what you think might actually happen in the future. The best way to do that is to just leave a comment below. And that's it for this week, guys. SuperKamiGuru9000, out.